So we see him for a while struggling. He's rejected Manichaeanism, but he doesn't know where to go from there. And it's then that he's introduced to Platonic thought. And this helps him finally to make sense of this order and disorder. Finally gives him a good understanding and good reasons for the ways, for the struggles that he's been dealing with. So I'm going to do Platonic thought, again in very broad strokes. First of all, God is in God's very essence good. That is, God is good with a capital G. One of my classes finds that very funny for some reason.
I think it's funny too.
You do?
Yeah.
Actually, I had some students once who wrote a song called God is Good without the O. Now that's clever. Get it? God is good without the O. Very clever. So God is the good, the ultimate good, the reality of goodness. So it's in God's nature to create good things. It is creation, good creation just kind of flows out of God because of God's own goodness. Since all things are created by God, then, all things reflect God's goodness. And that includes material realities. That includes things like flesh. So contrary to Manichaeanism, Platonism, Platonic thought, doesn't see the flesh, the body, as evil, but sees it as indeed something created by God and therefore good. Now, all created things, including flesh, including souls, are good, but they are not perfect. To be perfect means to be everlasting, to be unchanging, to be immovable. In other words, to be perfect means to be God. Created things are good, but they're not perfect. Created things change. They decay. They even die. And so while they're good, while they reflect the goodness of God, they are not perfect as God is perfect. Now, so if we were to love created realities as if they were perfect, as if they would never change, as if they would never die, we would love them as if they were God. And this is the mistake that human beings make, according to Platonic thought. This is what is called disordered love. If we love created realities as if they were the ultimate good, then we are loving improperly or in a disordered way. And one example of that from the text is in Book 4, Chapter 10. There are a couple of chapters in Book 4 that are really helpful for this. Book 4, Chapter 10, this is in the second paragraph in Chapter 10. A bit below halfway. He's talking about things of beauty. And that includes not just, beautiful trees or, a beautiful sky or whatever, but it includes beautiful persons. Physically beautiful and also beautiful souls. So, how are we to love beautiful things? Let my soul praise you for these things, O God, creator of them all. But the love of them, which we feel through the senses of the body, must not be like glue to bind my soul to them. For they continue on the course that is set for them and leads to their end. And if the soul loves them and wishes to be with them and find its rest in them, it is torn by desires that can destroy it. So if we love things, created things, as if we can rest in them, as if we can rely on them eternally, then our own soul is destroyed. So disordered or improper love introduces disorder into the human soul and into the cosmos. This is the root of sin for Augustine. Platonic thought doesn't talk in terms of sin, but Augustine describes this as sin, as lust, loving things improperly. And he associates this sin of lust in a compelling way with pride. He doesn't spell that out in the Confessions as he does in the City of God, but for Augustine, pride is to place oneself in the place of God. That is, to seek one's own satisfaction, to seek to satisfy oneself, rather than finding satisfaction and happiness in God. This disordered love is the root of sin. It is rooted in pride or desire to satisfy ourselves. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is still the slogan on Lay's potato chips, but there used to be at least a slogan on Lay's potato chips that said, "Bet you can't eat just one." Is that familiar to you? Augustine thinks of us in that way. We cannot eat just one, but we want more and more and more. So, if I were to love my husband, for example, for who he is, for the beautiful person that he is, then I would be loving him improperly. I am to love my husband as a creation of God. In fact, I'm not to love my husband directly at all. I'm to love the God who created him. And I'm to seek my husband's salvation as a way of loving him. So created things for Augustine are sort of I have this problem all the time. And it's getting worse as I get older, which really terrifies me. Created things are catalysts through which we love God. We use things of the world in order to love God. That way we can avoid loving them improperly. Because if for one moment I slip and I love my husband for who he is, then I'm just going to give in to that. I'm going to want more and more. I'm going to love him more and more deeply and forget about the God who created him. I'll make my husband into God. So he takes this Platonic understanding of proper and improper love, or rightly ordered and disordered love, and he explains our desire for evil in this way.